At and a 3, a 2, a 1. Howdy everyone, Runt9 here, and welcome back to Runt's Fireside Chat. It's been a bit. Obviously, things are a little different, as you can kind of tell. Number one is we're doing this live on Twitch, as opposed to it being recorded solo, and so that'll potentially change things a little bit, as now there can be chat interaction. Another one is we're not using the fireplace overlay as we have in the past, mostly because as it is right now, it looks like garbage with my green screen. That's not to say that we won't find a replacement in the future, but for now, we're going to use this overlay, and maybe we'll see what it looks like without the event list. We'll have the chat interaction, but the event list is definitely very Twitch specific. As Adrian has already mentioned, you can tell that I now have decided that wearing headphones while streaming is actually my preferred way of doing things. As well, for one, it means that I worry less about my hair getting in my face, which, what with COVID being a thing, I did get a haircut last year when things were starting to get a little bit better, and then that my hair got long again right as things were getting really bad again during the fall, and I've just stopped worrying about it. But if I were to take a piece of my hair and try to drape it over my face, I think it comes down to about like right here on my nose. And even after like stepping out of the shower, blow drying my hair, it goes everywhere. So headphones keeps that in check. I actually prefer the sound as far as like making sure that I can balance game volume and whatnot for headphone users. I feel like that ends up being better. Also, changed microphone position. It's about the longest my hair ever got, down to my nose. Yeah, I mean, I think like you just take a little bit right here. It's yeah, so it extends down to my mustache. So there is a very good reason as to why we are doing it this way. Microphone position has changed. I'm still kind of fiddling with it. I don't have a stand, or not even a stand. I don't have a way to get it over my monitors, which is kind of what I would prefer. I kind of want it coming down from above, like having it be right here or so. So it's coming in from the side, but the problem before, and you guys may have noticed this, is before it was like right here. Well, that's essentially blocking the keyboard, and I would actually bump it while I was playing games and stuff like that. So yeah, this should be coming out the day after an actual channel update comes out. I don't necessarily know what content the channel update's going to include, other than basically just talking about what to expect in 2021, and also kind of looking back at 2020, since we're pretty much coming up on a year of me doing this. I'd have to go back and double check what the very first day was, but I want to say it was the second week of February last year that I started doing this. Just cover your hair with the mic. That seems great. Just hiding like this. I don't know that that would work too well. We'll see. Yeah, it's been about a year of doing this, and you know, one of the biggest things I can say is just, despite how inconsistent things kind of got over the past couple of months, the core community is still here, still appreciates what I do, and I just really think that this is a hobby that I'm looking forward to continuing to do for a very long time. It's also very much surprised me how some of my videos have taken off a little bit on YouTube, and that's one of the reasons why I want to get back to it. Is there are people thinking that, you know what, Hatter, that might be a little inappropriate there. Well, you know, that I'm not going to delete that, but bruh, I feel like I want to start getting things back on YouTube, not just to kind of pull you guys over, or y'all over to the stream, but also because I want to push content to YouTube. I just realized last year that I don't have the time to spend on other hobbies and do both Twitch and YouTube. And so in the June channel update last year, that's where I talked about where I was taking a hiatus from YouTube. And I mean, it certainly freed me up a lot, because at the time I was pushing sometimes 2 to 3 videos a day to YouTube. And it got to the point where I wasn't able to get a backlog together over the weekends. And so I was pretty much just sitting there every night after a stream. You know, it's 9 o'clock at night, and I'd be starting YouTube recording. Some of these videos would be 45 plus minutes long, or in the case of Monster Train, when we were doing that, it would end up being, you know, over an hour for a run that made it all the way to the final boss. And by that point, it's 10 o'clock at night when I'm having dinner. I need to be asleep by midnight to wake up at 7 or 8 to get ready for work. And it was too much. So I think that this will be a nice combination of blending Twitch and YouTube in a way where I can still maximize the time that I stream while also still getting good content to YouTube. And hopefully this ends up being the best of both worlds. We can have the chat interaction during live things, like having this live Fireside chat, or the Runt 9 looks at that we're actually going to do on this stream after the Fireside chat. More importantly, for cool things like the top 10, which I'm trying to think how many days ahead it'll be, but this upcoming Saturday on Twitch, we will be doing a live top 10, and it will be the top 10 games of 2020. I actually just finished putting the list together a little earlier, and I think a couple people might be surprised by a couple things on there. But for the most part, especially the top 3, I think there's going to be virtually no surprise whatsoever. But I'm super excited about doing a top 10 live for the first time. Have a chance to, you know, have chat react to some of these instead of only being able to react after the fact in comments. And then that can just get pushed to YouTube. I'm going to be disappointed. I'm sure you are, because One Step from Eden did make it into the top 10. You'll have to find out where it landed, but I will go ahead and confirm that it did make it into the top 10. And for those of you on YouTube who may not know, Adrian is a longtime follower and supporter of the show, and he is not a huge fan of One Step from Eden. It's at this point become kind of a mutual trolling about the game, because I certainly love it. It's in my top 10 games last year. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things have changed as we're coming back this year. You know, Emmy and I have moved into our new place that got built over the summer and fall months. It was a long and hectic process, especially right at the end, as the closing date got pushed back a little bit, and, you know, all sorts of things with the builder and finalizing. We didn't have internet for the first week, and it took a while for the refrigerator to come in and all of that. But it's been a little bit, and we're starting to settle down. We're starting to get our routines back in order. Like I'm able to start streaming on a consistent schedule again, and it just feels really nice to look around me and feel I know this is going to be where Amy and I are going to be for a very long time, and it feels really great. Just to clarify, it's games that came out in 2020. Yes. So it's not going to be games that I first played in 2020. It's going to be games that, as of the time of making the list, their Steam page shows that they were released in 2020. I know that's a little bit weird for certain games that had early access in like 2019 and came out in 2020. Or their early access has started in 2020 and their official release is like coming soon in 2021. Basically, as of the time of writing the list, there were 21 games that I put together. that I played last year that would be in competition for that top 10, and they were all listed as came out in 2020. So for things that unfortunately didn't make the list, obviously, like number one is Nova Drift. Nova Drift did technically hit early access in 2019 and did not, yeah, Adrian even brought it up there. It technically came out in late 2019 in early access and has not had an official 1.0 release yet. There was another one that I was looking at that I was very sad when I found out that it wasn't actually 2020. I think it was Demon Crawl. Yeah, Demon Crawl came out in November of 2019. That one definitely also would have made it onto the top 10. So those were the two big ones, too, that we've played a lot on stream. And I know we did multiple Nova Drift series on YouTube. I think we did a Demon Crawl series there as well. Is Bonbon on the list? That one you'll have to wait and see. There were a lot of good games last year, a lot of opportunities that we took with Runt9 Looks At. The review videos on a couple of them will probably give you some clues, but I think the only one that most people are probably going to know, knowing me beyond a shadow of a doubt, is going to be number one, and probably number two. Let me pull that list back up again. How many surprises are going to be on here? Because I think 1 and 2 are kind of like for sure people are going to know those. 3 through 6, 3 through 7, all are like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I totally understand why those are on the list. 8, 9, and 10 might surprise people, might not surprise people. Monster Train, it has to be. If it's not, I'm going to flip. I will say nothing more about the top 10. You guys will just have to tune in Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time for that list. As of recording this video, I think that will make it to YouTube Tuesday of next week. Because as it is right now, we're recording the Fireside Chat live. I would like to... Tomorrow is Thursday, because we're recording this on Wednesday, February 2nd. Thursday is when I'm actually going to record the channel update that you guys will have already watched on Friday. So this will be coming out on Saturday. Runt9 Looks At Overcrowd on Sunday. Kyvir Rebirth on Monday. So the top 10 games of 2020 should be coming out on YouTube Tuesday at noon Central Standard Time. So you can keep an eye out for that. So yeah, the new schedule and, kind of getting settling in, it's been feeling great. I definitely came to the realization that the whole I'm just going to stream ad hoc doesn't work for me. And I mean, it also doesn't work for most people because if you want to watch me, it's kind of nice to know ahead of time. It's kind of nice to know ahead of time what to expect and when to expect. And so trying to cut things down a little bit, going down to 2-hour streams during the week and leaving Fridays open was definitely one that, even though we have had some solid viewership on Friday in the past, Friday ended up being analytically the weakest day for streams, and the one day where after a week of work, not having to stream was the biggest beneficiary, I would say. And then just kind of leaving Saturdays there as an opportunity for special streams and longer streams, and once a month some sort of special thing. This month in February is going to be that top 10 list. It worked out really well, because going back to streaming on Sundays, I liked having Sundays to myself, and now I'm glad that I'm going back to streaming on Sundays, because that's the one day that it's most likely Emmy and I are going to be able to do things together, because that's the one day a week that she is guaranteed to be off of work, since banks and credit unions are obviously open on Saturdays sometimes, and she works every other Saturday. So basically tune in today on stream to see this absolute based top 10 list. Yes, If you are watching this right as it comes out at noon Central on Saturday, then tune in 2 hours or approximately an hour and a half or whatever from now to twitch.tv/Runt9Plays for the top 10 games of 2020. And I'm trying to figure out some way to put some special sauce on it. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it. Likely, I'm just going to figure out some giveaways. But that may or may not be as beneficial or whatnot. We will probably just set it up where we'll play a little bit of the top 5 or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure. I haven't figured out exactly what to expect there, but regardless, I'm looking forward to it. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be nice to, like I said, try doing a top 10 with chat. So yeah, life has been hectic but awesome, and Emmy and I couldn't be happier that this is the way things ended up. Surprisingly enough, my old landlord for the rental house that we were living in before ended up being really cool about this situation, because we moved out early. My lease technically isn't up until February 27th, but when we started building a house, we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of buffer time. So we tried to schedule it in such a way that, like, worst case scenario, we'd be moving end of December, early January, so we could move in plenty of time, clean up the house, and also give him a chance to get it back on the market and find a renter with it being empty, so that, he could get the most value for it and all of that. I wanted it to be mutually beneficial. And so since we were fully out by, second week of January, what he decided to do is just go ahead, try to find another renter. And he actually retook possession at the end of January and essentially waived February's rent, on top of the fact that I didn't realize or completely forgot that a year and a half ago when I signed the lease, I did have to actually put down a full month's rent as a deposit. And so I went from, we're going to have to pay mortgage and rent this month, because our first mortgage payment on the new house was this month, to not having to pay the rent and getting a full month's rent back to put towards debt or furniture or media room stuff or whatever the case may be. We're still figuring out exactly what we're going to do with that. But it was really nice of him, because especially he actually had someone set up to move in February 1st, and then unfortunately that person turned out to be super sketchy, and I think they were even trying to scam him with they were trying to pay with their veteran checks, which has some weirdness about it. And so he ended up having to back out of the lease. My landlord backed out of the lease with the new tenant, but he didn't back out of the deal on not having me pay February rent. And so, we got pretty lucky with that. And that's one of the things that did go right the first time. As awful as that sounds, a lot of things, it was the second or third or fourth plan from the primary that actually worked during this whole process. But yeah, like I said, we couldn't be happier with the way things ended up. And like I said, I'm happy to be back here and trying to dig more into the hobby again, trying to get active-ish on Twitter and pushing stuff to YouTube again, trying out more things on stream. We've mostly just been playing Path of Exile, but with getting more of a full week of things back together, I can start putting together weekly schedules ahead of time. Here's what we're doing on Sunday through Wednesday on stream, and if there is a Saturday stream, here's what we're doing. I already know that on Sunday, Emmy and I are going to be starting up a Pokemon challenge run in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. For those of you, which I think is literally everyone who weren't able to go back, actually I think it was on my other channel anyways, 2 years ago when Emmy and I kind of reconnected after my passed. Don't worry about that aspect of things. I was still living in Dallas while she was living in Austin, and so one of the things we did to reconnect was I would, turn on and stream on Twitch, and we would play Pokemon together, essentially. And I love the Pokemon games, but they're obviously their difficulty level is aimed at children, and they're way too easy, especially if you just grind yourself way over leveled and all of that. And so we had come up with a set of challenge rules for different ways to play the game. I'll come back to that in just a second. Let me answer these couple of things. Not looking forward to scouting houses. I will say that house hunting is, and I've said this many times over the years, it is simultaneously one of the most fulfilling and one of the most frustrating things you'll ever do in your entire life, because it's a ton of fun to go look at a bunch of houses and picture, where's my furniture going to go? How would I live here? How would this work? But the whole process of putting in offers and figuring out moving plans, and there's a lot of things about it that are frustrating as well. So it's definitely got a big roller coaster of emotions. Do you plan on going back to Nova Drift eventually? Yeah, absolutely. Especially once Enemies 2.0 comes out. That I would expect a lot of Nova Drift on stream for that. Chimeric has been doing little updates here and there as he has time. Chimeric is the developer of Nova Drift, and he had a child last year. Congratulations to him, and obviously has been very busy with said child, and thus not able to put in as much time as previously in Nova Drift. Plus, Enemies 2.0 is a huge rework of the entire enemy system. And so it's also hard to roll out incremental updates to the game when he's working on such a massive rework for the game as well. But I would expect lots of Nova Drift once that comes out. Especially since I'm assuming it'll end up going on a pretty good Steam sale. People will find it that way and all that. So yeah, on the Pokemon Challenge thing, actually, never mind. I was going to pull up the old challenge rules and just kind of glance over them again, but basically it was things like no grinding, you couldn't kill wild Pokemon. If you killed one on accident, you had to reload your save, and stuff like that. There was the biggest rule, though, and the one that created the most memorable moments and will continue to create the most memorable moments this time around, especially since Gen 2 is the closest one to my heart. The very first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Silver, and I probably went through the game eight or nine times when I was a kid. Was the rule where after every gym you defeat, you have to randomly kill off one of your Pokemon. And that was so much fun, but so rough a couple of times when, killing off the hero of the gym or my favorite Pokemon in our current party. Gen 2 is so bad. I think this is where I'm going to ban you, Adrian, because you're just wrong. I definitely enjoyed the moments that it created. There's a picture, I'd have to find it, of my face when my Breloom, who basically just mega drained or giga drained us through Norman's gym, because we were doing Alpha Sapphire. Or is it Omega Sapphire, Alpha Ruby? Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby? It's Oras. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. Yeah. We were playing Alpha Sapphire and we got through Norman. I didn't have a true fighting type. Breloom didn't have any fighting type moves, so it just giga drained through the gym and was essentially the hero. And when I pulled up the randomizer, I was like, all right, literally any of the 6 except Breloom, a 1 out of 6 chance to hit the only one that I don't want to lose right now, and it hit Breloom, and I just sat there with this face of disgust of God, the one I didn't want to lose. And I expect more of the same moments because it's random, and there's double the opportunities in a Gen 2 game since you get to do Johto and Kanto in the same game. And so that's something that I'm really looking forward to. That content definitely will come to YouTube. As for how we split it up, I'm not 100% sure, but I may just push entire 2-hour VODs over. We'll see. But that will be starting this Sunday, and it's going to be so much fun. You're definitely not fighting red. It all depends. Because like the main point of the challenge run is to artificially restrict yourself in the game to make it more difficult. And that, like, if you lose a gym, usually the experience that your Pokemon gain from any knockouts you did get carries over, and you can keep fighting the gym and gaining experience. In the challenge run, if you lose a gym, you reload your save. The gym gauntlet was part of it as well. You save before the gym. You cannot heal at any point in the gym, and you must complete the gym in one go. So you have to literally go through the entire gym, however many trainers you run into, and the gym leader. No healing items, no, restore power points, none of that. I even had restrictions on which moves I could use when, so I couldn't just sit there and spam one super effective move for the entire battle. There was a lot of stuff like that, and it made the game far more interesting. It added a challenge layer to it without being unfair. We tuned stuff a good bit, and I expect similar rules this time around. How are you going to pull that when you're 20 levels under or more under? I mean, I think red is kind of a special case. We'll deal with that when we get there. I don't know if the series will actually make it that far. My ideal scenario would be we make it through the Elite Four twice, but there's no guarantee that's actually going to happen. Just simply because I don't know that it will be worth doing on Twitch that long. We may not even make it all, because when we were doing Alpha Sapphire, we didn't make it all the way through the game. I actually just realized that we're over time by a little bit. It's been roughly 30 minutes. Or no, we started at 9 minutes in, but I'm pretty sure that we're right about that 30-minute mark. Yeah, Adrian's keeping me honest. So this is where we're going to close things out. I gotta hit the stream marker here and then cut things down, and we'll be pushing this over to YouTube. I gotta get my thumbnail game going again. So yeah, if you want to participate in these videos in the future, feel free to hop over to twitch.tv/Runt9Plays. We're streaming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sundays, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And once a month on Saturdays, time TBA, depending upon the event. So make sure you come check that out. Make sure you check out discord.runt9plays.com. You can come hang out with the community and chat about games and all the other stuff going on the channel. Excuse me. Follow me at Runt9Plays on Twitter. And obviously liking and subscribing and all of that. Once again, really happy to be back. I hope everyone on YouTube is looking forward to more content as time goes by. And until next time, I'm Runt9, and I'll see you later. All right, stream marker, Runt's Fireside chat end. Add.